And then there were two. This is unbelievable. The Roki Sasaki sweepstakes have officially reached the end, and we're nearing a decision on where he's going to play for at least the first 6 years of his Major League Baseball career. So we'll break that down and much more on this episode of 3 Up, 3 Down. Welcome in, everybody, to 3 Up, 3 Down. I'm your host, Peter Vrionis, and as a Blue Jay fan, I don't know how we got here, but here we are. It's between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Los Angeles Dodgers, yet again, for a Japanese superstar in free agency. But before we break down the new reports that came out, make sure to hit that subscribe button because a large percentage of you who are watching these videos are not subscribed to the channel, and we're on the road to 3,000. It'd mean the world if you could help get me there. But let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into the video. And this is what I wanted to talk about. Sorry that the screenshots aren't sized up here properly, but the Padres are reportedly out on Roki Sasaki, according to Francis Romero, and they've started spending their international bonus pool money elsewhere. This is a massive development for the Dodgers and for the Blue Jays as they look to sign this guy long term. I made a video yesterday kind of breaking down the case that the Padres had to sign him. And I thought that that would be the best fit personally. He's going to get the most opportunities in that rotation. He'll get the opportunities in Toronto as well. There's no doubt about that. But the Dodgers have a very stacked rotation with a lot of guys that they're paying a lot of money to. So it's no doubt that Roki would have broken in and had his fair chance. But let's say he's not cutting it right away. Maybe they try to move in a different direction or go to a six-man rotation. It's not as clear-cut, the opportunities that he's going to get right out of the gate, as if he were to sign in Toronto or in San Diego. So that was my reservation when analyzing the Dodgers as a potential fit. But there's no doubting that they have the Japanese superstar talent. They have all of his buddies on that team as well. Like, it just makes perfect sense for that to happen. And the Padres being out now of this race, that opens it up largely for the Los Angeles Dodgers. They are the overwhelming favorite as it stands right now, and Roki Sasaki is close to a deal with the Dodgers. The source tells me that it will be a big surprise if Sasaki goes to Toronto. So this is by Mike Rodriguez. I don't really take anything that he says too closely because he has been wrong in the past, and he's more so tapped into the Dominican side of things and the Latin American players as opposed to the Japanese superstars and where they're going to end up going. So it's not something that I'm paying too much attention to, but as of now, the Dodgers have to be the favorite, and apparently the meeting went really well. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, Shohei Ohtani were part of those meetings, and they met with Roki Sasaki, and they kind of just laid it all out there for him. They said, this is the place to be. This is where you're going to want to spend your career. You're going to get your opportunities, and that is what ended up happening. So remains to be seen where he actually signs. But Sasaki, as of now, probably going to the Dodgers. But for the Blue Jays, I cannot believe that they are in this situation. And this is not a leverage play. This is nowhere close to the Shohei Ohtani situation that we had a couple of off seasons ago, or last off season. That is, this is totally different. It's not like Sasaki's trying to squeeze out an extra couple $1 million wherever he decides to go. He can't. There's only so much money that you can give to an international free agent, which is why it's very surprising that the Blue Jays are still in this race. And I'm ready for them to finish second place. But I'm just glad that they are in this discussion and that they are a part of these sweepstakes and they have made it this far, because it seemingly came out of nowhere. They weren't really rumored to be in on Sasaki. We had this short list of about 7 or 8 teams, and the Blue Jays were nowhere to be found. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they're in the top 3. They're in the finalists. And every single move that has gone down in the Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro era have been kind of shot in the dark, out of nowhere type moves. And this screams an out of nowhere move because nobody, and I mean nobody, regarded Sasaki as a legitimate option because he was free to sign with any of the 30 Major League Baseball teams. And the way that the Blue Jays have been trending, the direction that they're going in, it's not a very attractive situation. But for someone who said that they prioritize development, I mean, working with Pete Walker and that pitching staff, it's truly one of the places to be if you want to unlock your true potential. And look at Robbie Ray. That's the number one example right there. On his way out of the league, struggling with control, can't get anything done in the rotation. Then he comes to Toronto, turns it around, wins a Cy Young, gets paid in free agency. So that is the blueprint that a lot of guys have been following. And same thing with Marcus Semien. Came here after a down season, signed a 1 year deal, tried to prove to the rest of Major League Baseball that he was still one of the elite players in the game. He did exactly that, signed a $200+ million deal with the Texas Rangers, won a World Series. So Toronto has been seen as this sort of springboard location for a lot of top free agents that are looking to regain their value. And I'm not saying that Roki has to prove himself to anybody. He is going to have to make his bones in the big leagues. There's no doubt about that. But he's coming in as this highly touted generational kind of prospect. And I mean, you see his stats right there. It's a little bit hard to see, but I'll pull it up for you guys there. You see the sub 2 ERAs. I mean, just fantastic numbers, but the workload is not all that significant. He has never eclipsed more than 130 innings in a season, in a full season in the NPB with the Chiba Lope Marines. So it's going to be interesting to see whether or not he can adjust to the style of play in the big leagues. You know, obviously different baseballs that he's going to be pitching with, but he was amazing in the World Baseball Classic against some of the best talent in the world. So I have no doubt that he's going to live up to all of the hype once he does make his Major League debut. But who's it going to be with? Right now it's down to two teams, the Blue Jays and the Dodgers. And I'm crossing my fingers. I'm trying my best to will him over to Toronto because I truly want that to happen. And if the Dodgers get him, I mean, just hand them the World Series for the second consecutive year because that rotation is going to be absolutely filthy. And I feel bad for any opposing offense that has to go up against them. But let me know in the comments down below, where do you see Roki Sasaki signing? All signs are pointing to the Dodgers right now. Do you think that is the most likely destination? Or can the Blue Jays finally get over the hump and sign a superstar free agent? Let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you all tomorrow.